is one left auricle, then there is one right ventricle and one left ventricle. All in all, 4 chambers are there. Now the double circulation takes place through the 4-chambered heart, and what happens? That double circulation consists of 2 types of circulations happening together, or you can say happening simultaneously. The first one is pulmonary circulation, then comes the systemic circulation. Now, whenever we talk about the pulmonary circulation, remember that this is the kind of circulation wherein the blood would flow between the heart and the lungs. Okay, the lungs component, like the pulmonary word, is always related to the lungs or the breathing or the ventilation of that sort. The second component of the double circulation is the systemic circulation. Now, in this, the blood would flow in between the heart and the rest of the body. In between the heart and the lungs, that is pulmonary circulation. In between the heart and the rest of the body, that is systemic circulation. And when these 2 kinds of circulations take place together, we call it as double circulation. Now, to understand what happens, we know that during the double circulation, the blood is going to circulate through the heart 2 times, twice. Okay. Now, tell me, students, which is the gas that we take in for breathing?
O2.
O2, right? We take in oxygen. And which is the gas we give out as expiration?
Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, correct. Now, see, what happens is that whenever the oxygen enters in our body, okay, all of the cells in our body, meaning our body cells, they utilize the oxygen as well. Like, it's not just used for breathing. Our body cells utilize the oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Okay, this is what happens normally. Now, if we begin from here, meaning from the bodies, so what happens? Once the body has used up the oxygen, it will give out the carbon dioxide in the blood. Now, this carbon dioxide rich blood, now 2 things that you people have to understand, that whenever the blood is mixed with oxygen, we call it as oxygenated blood, or it is the purest blood. Whenever the blood is mixed with whenever the blood is mixed with CO2, so we call it as deoxygenated blood. And this one is a dirty blood or impure blood. This is the one that we cannot use. The oxygenated blood is obviously something that we need to use. Clear? Now, what happens is that when the body uses the oxygen, it gives out carbon dioxide. So now the blood becomes deoxygenated, isn't it? Now the deoxygenated blood is carried by a blood vessel called as vena cava, and it takes it to the right auricle. Meaning, always remember that the deoxygenated blood enters in the right auricle. Now, from the right auricle, it will go into the right ventricle, and then when the right ventricle side or the heart would pump, the right ventricle will pump out the deoxygenated blood, and this deoxygenated blood is carried by the pulmonary artery to the heart, sorry, to the lungs. Now, from the right ventricle, the dirty blood, the impure blood, gets carried by the pulmonary artery to the lungs. Now, why? So that it can be purified. Because we know that in the lungs only the exchange of gases take place. We have studied that in breathing part. So now the gases, the carbon dioxide goes into the alveoli part, and then it gets diffused out. That is when we breathe out. Now, when we breathe in yet again, now the blood is oxygen rich once again. So now the oxygen rich blood is carried by the pulmonary vein, and it carries it into the left auricle. From the left auricle, it goes into the left ventricle. And then when the left ventricle pumps it out, it is again distributed to the whole entire body by the blood vessel called as aorta. So you see how the blood is being circulated through the heart 2 times. Once from the body to the heart, secondly from the heart to the lungs, and yet again to the heart, isn't it? So since the blood flows through the heart 2 times, we call it as double circulation. Any doubts up until now, students? Now, if anyone would ask you, why is the blood or why is the CO2 rich blood taken to the lungs? What would your answer be?
To get the blood oxygenated.
Yes, to make the blood oxygenated or to purify it. So always remember that oxygenation of blood, it is the process to purify the deoxygenated blood, and it takes place in the lung because we cannot use dirty blood at all. Any person who has, you can say, a large amount of carbon dioxide in their body, they'll have a lot of diseases also. Okay, because we need fresh blood, we need fresh oxygen supply to every single tissue. Like such a severe condition can arise. For example, if a person has some sort of lungs disease, okay, his or her lungs are not working properly enough to oxygenate the blood. So since that isn't happening, so the CO2 rich blood stays in the body, isn't it? Because the lungs are not functioning well. So in that person, the oxygen rich blood is not supplied to the brain enough, like much more than it is needed to. Obviously, it won't be supplied to the brain, it won't be supplied to any part of the body. So in that person's brain, you can say the brain will be affected because the brain cannot work without oxygen, right? No cell, no body
So she will
component.
be declared brain dead or something.
Not actually brain dead. Brain dead is when no signal is going to. But that person who does not have oxygen delivered to the brain, he or she cannot do the normal functions that a normal person does. Meaning he'll start forgetting things. He'll start coordination, like stop the coordination that normal people have. They can't write, they can't speak, and they can't even recognize sound. Or whatever they know, they'll forget because their brain doesn't work. But as soon as the oxygen is supplied back to the brain, all the normal functions will come back. So oxygen is very important. Many a times, you might have seen, have you people noticed that during the winter time, when you're like sitting like crisscrossed in a crisscross position, so after a while, you might have noticed that your nails started to turn blue. Sometimes it happens, the nails, they turn blue. No, none of you have noticed that. So that also, like whenever our nails turn blue in the winter time, that is also because in the winter we don't do enough exercise, we're like stagnant. So enough oxygen is not reaching the these tissues, different tissues of the skin part. So that is where the bluish color appears. Okay, so this is all in all the importance of how oxygen regulates all the normal bodily functions. So is this double circulation clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone have any doubts anywhere? Like, why is it coming from here, going there? Anything you want to ask?
Ma'am, just a small question. Does the oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood look different? Or
The deoxygenated blood would be darker. It would be red only, obviously, because both of them have hemoglobin. But the CO2 rich blood will, since it is a dirty blood, CO2 is a foul gas for us. So it will be darker, much more darker than the normal. Okay. Now, one question, students. Whenever we are talking about CO2 rich blood or O2 rich blood, so ultimately the blood is only carrying the carbon dioxide or the oxygen, right? So which component of the blood does carry it? You
red
people are
blood
studying.
cells?
Why? Why red blood cells? Why not any other cells? Hmm? You are right. Your answer is right. Why red?
Is it because they have hemoglobin?
Yes. The red blood cells are red in color because they contain hemoglobin. Always remember. And whether it is CO2, whether it is O2, hemoglobin has the property that it can bind to both. Okay. So whenever, I'll write it here, that hemoglobin is denoted as HB. Isn't it? I think I've taught you people this, right? HB. And whenever it, no, okay. Whenever the hemoglobin binds with oxygen, it forms HbO2, which we call as oxyhemoglobin. And this has a property, like for example, this binding is not very strong. For example, wherever the cell requires the oxygen, this HB will be separated and the oxygen will be supplied. And another very unique thing is that the HB can also form a bond with CO2. So we call that as, yes, that is what we call as carboxyhemoglobin, right? So both of these conditions, ultimately we are seeing that the blood is carrying, or you can say the hemoglobin is carrying the blood through the whole entire double circulation. Now talking about the blood vessels that are involved, the first one that you saw, vena cava. It was taking the blood from where to where, students? Vena cava. Tell me.
From the body to the
Hmm.
right atria.
From the body to the right atrium, right? Meaning it was taking the foul or the deoxygenated blood and carrying it to the right auricle. So vena cava, it is a large vein that brings deoxygenated blood from the body cells to the right auricle of the heart. Then comes pulmonary artery. Now students, I'll tell you one very unique property that first of all, people read that this is known as carbamino, carbamino hemoglobin. This complex. This won't be asked in the exam, so don't worry about it. It's just for your knowledge. Now see, whenever we talk about the pulmonary, or sorry, in just general, arteries and veins, okay, there is a very unique property that when we talk about arteries, remember that all the arteries, no matter what, all the arteries, they carry oxygenated blood except for pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery is the only artery that would carry the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs so that it can get purified. Because pulmonary, as I told you, it will have connection with the lungs. And this is an artery. This is the only artery that will carry the deoxygenated blood. Normally, all the other arteries, meaning other than pulmonary artery, all of them carry the oxygenated blood. They do not carry deoxygenated. Clear? Same way, when we talk about the veins, all the veins, they carry deoxygenated blood except for pulmonary vein. Again, pulmonary vein is the only vein that will carry the oxygenated blood. Rest assured, all the veins will carry deoxygenated blood. Lastly, there is the aorta. Aorta is the largest artery and it is responsible for carrying the oxygenated blood from the left ventricles and distribute it to the whole entire body. Now, if we see this whole entire, you can say, circulation in a flow chart, if you did not understand by this, it may get confusing. I'm not blaming you all. You can understand with this. The deoxygenated blood from where? So from the body cell gets carried to where? To the right auricle through what? So through vena cava. Then from the right auricle, it goes into the right ventricle. And then from the right ventricle, it is carried to the lungs through what? So through pulmonary artery. Now for what purpose? So for oxygenation. Now from the lungs, it gets carried to the left auricle through the pulmonary vein. Then from the left auricle, it gets carried to the left ventricle. Ultimately, from the left ventricle, it gets carried to the whole entire body cells through the aorta, which is the largest artery. Is this clear, students? I'll also write this particular point that all the veins or all the arteries carry oxygenated blood except which artery, students? All the arteries carry oxygenated blood except What is the infection?
Pulmonary.
Pulmonary artery. Same way, all the veins carry deoxygenated blood. Except pulmonary vein. Always remember this fact, okay? This can be asked in the exam also. So you people should have your facts clear. Now students, you people have understood double circulation? All of you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now one by one, you people will answer as I ask. Tell me, from the body, the blood gets carried to which part of the heart?
Right atrium.
Right atrium. Okay. Gianna, tell me through which blood vessel? Tell me. From the body, it gets carried to the right auricle. Tell me the name of the blood vessel that is carrying that blood. Yes, Gianna.
Ma'am, can you repeat your question?
The question is the deoxygenated blood from our body cells, it gets carried to the right auricle through which blood vessel?
The vein,
Which vein? The name of the vein is?
the inferior vena cava.
I did not say inferior and superior. Are you Googling the question?
No, ma'am.
Then from where did you get inferior?
Ma'am, because we learned in school.
Tell me the difference between inferior and superior vena cava.
So, ma'am, the superior vena cava brings the blood from the top part of the body.
Okay. Please answer the way I teach you, students. Okay. Listen to what I say. What you are saying is correct, but again, that is not in your level. In class 10, you people do not have to learn about the inferior or superior vena cava.
Ma'am, we labeled it like that, that's why.
Okay. All right. Galvin, you tell me from the right auricle, where does the blood go?
Can I repeat, ma'am?
From the right auricle, where does the blood go?
To the heart.
Hmm?
It goes to the heart.
The right auricle is also a part of the heart only. Which part of the heart would the blood go from the right auricle?
Heart to the heart.
Hmm. Don't know. Ibar, you tell me.
I don't know.
You also don't know. Okay. Uh, Aisha, you tell me. The blood from the right auricle will go into the
Right atrium.
the blood is there in the right atrium. From where will it go from the right atrium? Ayan, you tell me. The blood will move from the
Right
right auricle.
ventricle.
Yes, the right ventricle, students. Remember the boxes. That is the reason why I made boxes instead of making the heart, the complicated one. So that you people remember the boxes. So, okay, no, wait, first I'll ask the rest of the questions. Okay, so from the right ventricle, where would the heart go? Who knows this?
Lungs.
It will go to the lungs. Gianna, can you tell me which blood vessel will carry it to the lung?
Ma'am, the deoxygenated blood, right?
Hmm.
Ma'am, the pulmonary artery.
The pulmonary artery. All right. Galvin, you tell me, why is the blood taken to the lungs? Say, it's all right. Don't be nervous. It's no. I'm normally asking to see whether you've understood or not. Tell me, why is it going to the lungs? Why not to the eyes or ears or nose or anywhere else? Why not to the kidneys? Why only and only to the lungs? No. Ibad, you tell me, why is it being carried to the lungs only? Ayan,
To get oxygenated.
to get oxygenated. Aisha, can you tell me what is the meaning of oxygenated blood? Or like what is happening during the oxygenation of blood? Harshit, you tell me.
Ma'am, could you please repeat it?
Hmm?
Could you please repeat the question, ma'am?
The question is, what do you mean by oxygenation of blood?
Ma'am, it means that the blood is getting oxygenated by the lungs, and it means also that it is carrying oxygen to it.
Yeah, meaning oxygen is getting supplied to it. Right?
Yes.
All right. Okay, now after the blood has been oxygenated, which blood vessels carries it to where?
Pulmonary vessel to the left atria.
Which pulmonary vessel?
Pulmonary vein.
Yeah, pulmonary vein to the left auricle, right? Now from the left auricle, where would the blood go? Ibar? From the left auricle, where will the blood go? Nuha, you tell me, from the left auricle, where will the blood go? Below where? Ayan?
Left ventricle.
Left ventricle. Now from the left ventricle, where would the blood go, Gianna? From the left ventricle, where would the blood go?
Ma'am, I'm not sure.
Maha?
It will circle to the whole body by the aorta.
Yes. So now, first of all of you who have switched off their videos, first of all, you switch it back on. Switch it back on. Every single student. I don't want anyone's video to be switched off. Okay, now tell me what's the problem. Tell me. You people did not understand how the double circulation takes place? The question is to everyone. Did you or did you not understand it? Yes or no?
Yes.
You've understood it, Ayan?
Yes.
And Maha, you've also understood it, right? Okay. What about the rest of you? What about the rest of you? Tell me.
Understood, ma'am.
Okay, you've understood. Now, particularly, now you people are not even able to answer from where the blood would go. Like when we talk about the right auricle, where will it go? It will go down. It will go down to the left, right ventricle only. So if you're not able to answer this also, then that means you've not understood anything. This is for those students who have not answered. So if you haven't understand, it's all right. It's okay if you've not understood it. No one's judging you. Okay, I'm here to teach, and I'll teach you 10 times if you did not understand. But you have to tell me, how would I know? I asked the questions and I saw none of you were able to answer. The simple questions. And you people are like, you don't even interact in the class. Okay, tell me like answer one question, students. Why do you come to the class? Why do you come? Why do you join the link?
To learn.
Okay. He joins to learn. What about the other students? What do you join it for?
To understand the concept of the lesson.
To understand the concept. What about others? Why do you join it?
Not
To
to
improve
study.
our areas where we are weak to.
Okay. What about the other students? You know, there are some of you in the class whom I have only seen once or twice. Okay. Because of this problem of not switching on your videos. And secondly, there are only few of you whose voice I recognize and whose names I remember. And why is that so? It's not a offline thing so that I'll be partial to anyone, right? I don't have anything to do with your, you can say, the grades that you get or anything of that sort. But there are some students that I recognize, right? There are some who answer in the class. Now it's all right if you don't answer in the class, but not understanding is not all right. People are getting me? Just coming here, sit and to just go back once the teacher says, okay, now we'll see you in the next class. That's not what you come here for. You come here to learn. All of you come here to learn, isn't it? So once I said that, students, have you understood double circulation? I explained it 2 times to you through this complicated version also and through the flow chart also. Now tell me, how many of you did not understand even a bit? Not even a bit. You have to be honest with me. All of you have understood. Yet, majority did not give the answers. Why? Tell me. See, students, this can be asked in the exam. It's a very important topic. It's very important. They can ask you about the blood vessels. They'll ask you about what are the 2 types of circulation in the double circuit. They'll ask you anything from this topic. Then what would you do? You're getting my point, what I'm trying to say? Is everyone getting it? So the bottom line of what my bhashan is for, it is basically that whenever you people don't understand anything, ask me. How would I know that you're not understanding? And if you'll not understand, how would you write in your exam? Just to come here and bear me speak is not what you come here for. That is what I want to say. I am your biology teacher, so you have to come in the class. That's your compulsion. I understand that. But you can try to make out of it. I know many of you are here in the class who won't like me. I know that. There are many of you that don't like me because I can tell by the attitude that you people have. But it's not my loss. I already know double circulation. It's you people that need to learn. I already know these things. So am I benefiting me or you? Now also no one will speak. See, students, in the class you need to speak. Like whenever you talk to your friends, you speak only, right? Or you stay mute. Your friends would speak and you'll stay mute. Is that the case? I don't think there's anyone in the
No,
class who
ma'am,
does.
see.
You people speak, right? Everyone does. So what happens to you when you come in the class? Do you people feel pressured that there are other students that might listen to me? Is that the case? Because that can also happen. Nothing, no, there's no problem at all, isn't it? It's just that, ma'am, we don't like studying. This is not done, students. Right now, also, even when I'm saying that you people should speak, then also you're ignoring me. I'm not saying this to the ones that have answered my questions. This is to the ones that have kept quiet or said, ma'am, I don't. This is not to the ones that have answered the questions. Okay. So it's not my law, students. Now, see, tell me if you've understood this or not, because this will be asked in the exam. What will you write then? Gianna, have you understood double circulation?
Yes, ma'am.
Every single thing of it you've understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Will you be able to tell me the whole entire process if I ask you to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about Galvin? Have you understood every single thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Will you be able to explain it to me?
Yes, ma'am. It's fine.
What about Aisha? Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, then Gianna, please explain the double circulation from the beginning. How does it start? From where does it go? Whatever happens. Please explain that to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Ma'am, the blood from the body,
Hmm.
the blood from the body comes to is brought to the right atrium
Correct.
by the vein.
Hmm. Yes, it comes by the vein. You are right. What is the name of the
Yeah,
vein?
a vena cava,
Vena cava. Yes. Then
and it is then passed on, transfer,
passed on. Yeah.
passed
Okay.
passed on to the right ventricle.
Correct.
Um,
Then from the right ventricle.
um,
Hmm. Where does it go from the right ventricle?
from the right ventricle, it goes to the
See, it's all right. Aisha, can you explain from now on? Further from now on? From the right ventricle. Okay. Ibar, please explain. Carry it on from right ventricle. Carry it on. No. Will you speak or not? Yes or no?
So 1 second.
ma'am.
Yes, Jan. Are you saying something?
Along the right atrium, does it transport it to the lungs
Hmm.
to get to get oxygenated?
Yes, right.
When do I continue?
Ibar, can you continue after what she said?
So can I know the last thing she said?
She said, you weren't even listening that. She said that the
Oh,
blood goes to the lungs for oxygenation. What happens after that?
mom.
Ma'am, may I? Ma'am, may I?
Wait, Harshit. Yes, Ibar, continue. What happens after the blood gets oxygenated?
Where it gets oxygenated is carried back to the left article.
What? Please say it again.
Auricle, carried back to the left auricle
Correct. By which vessel?
by pulmonary veins.
Yes. Then,
Uh, then like
where does it go?
then it goes the
Hmm? From the left auricle, where does it go?
or
Remember, try to
to
remember the
the
box.
left ventricle.
Hmm. Then, Harshit, continue from here. Where does it go from the left ventricle?
Ma'am, from the left ventricle, it is again like goes from the right atrium, then right ventricle. Then it is collected from the blood by veins and returned to the heart.
No, from the left ventricle, the blood gets distributed to the body cells. It gets
Oh,
distributed to
yes,
the whole entire body. Right? By which
yes.
vessel?
By pulmonary,
No, no, no. From the left
then
ventricle.
from the left ventricle, it is pulmonary artery, ma'am.
No, dear, no. Ayan, tell me which blood vessel carries?
Aorta.
Aorta, correct. Now, when the blood will go to the body cells, the body cell will utilize it and then send it back to the whole. This whole entire process will keep on repeating the n number of times the heart beats. So, Maya, have you understood the double circulation process?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any doubt that you have?
No.
All right. Okay, students, now you people can note it down.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I'm going to start the reproduction chapter after this.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have that chapter coming in your exam?
Yes, ma'am. Only
Okay.
the asexual part.
Only the asexual part. What about others? Do you people also have the how do organisms reproduce chapter coming?
No, ma'am. Our
Exams.
environment.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So it's just for you, Maha, isn't it? All right. Okay. Yeah. After this chapter is done, when is your exam, dear?
Ma'am, the date hasn't been clarified yet, but the exam is supposed to start from the 17 October.
Okay. 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 All right. Once we are done with this, because only the half of the, like, not even half, a very little portion of the chapter is left. So after that, I'll start how do organisms reproduce. Okay. Also students, I have one very important thing to discuss with you all. Like after the classes are done, do you people receive the assessments, the PDF, the homeworks, for which you have to do the homework and upload it? You people receive that
No,
homework?
those are assignments, right?
Yes, yes, the assignment.
No, we get it the next day.
Hmm?
The next day.
The next year
Not
you'll
on the
get
same
it.
day. Yeah.
Oh, next day. Okay, yeah, yeah. You people do get that, right? So, are those MCQs or subjective questions?
No, subjective.
Like two questions?
Yeah, they will like give PDFs in it where they say like solve this question like that.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So, for those questions that you do get after the topics are done, are you people able to solve those questions?
Yeah. But for bio we only got like 2 or 3 questions like that, not more than those.
Okay. So, you people are able to combat those questions?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And see, students, that is your assessment, assignment, homework, whatever you want to call it. It is like something related to the topic that has been completed in the class. So whenever you people have any doubts in any question, you can come to me with that question also. Because maybe sometimes it can happen, the questions can be weird. They can be very weird languaged questions. So you can come to me with those questions, okay? Instead of having or staying in doubt, come to me with the questions. I'll solve your doubts, okay? Don't refer to the internet. Come to me first. If if I've explained anything to you and you still did not get it, you're like, okay, ma'am, you're not able to teach me enough. Then you can refer to the internet. But first you come to me because I teach in a different way. I teach it in a way that sets in your brain. So please, whatever question you have, come to me. Okay. Okay, and what about the other students? Are you facing any difficulties in the after class homeworks that you get?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, you people are able to answer those questions? Because I'll check it. Okay, because those like the homeworks that you upload, they are not just like that. We value it, we check it, we see that whether the student is understanding or not, if you're answering. So if you have any doubts, it's like a free invite from my side. You can come with me to those questions. Okay, and then we'll discuss it if you have any problem, any doubts in those. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. All right, you can go back to writing.